Namaste, namaste, beautiful family of light. Baba Sharon here. Glad to see everybody here at the Cosmic Center Spiritual Light, also on Zoom and here on Facebook Live. Whenever this reaches you, hello, hello to you in the eternal now. So, a couple of things I wanted to mention. Actually, I have two different things. I don't know if I can combine them, but let's talk about some things that are happening, I think, to a lot of us, which I would say is a glitch in the veil, glitching in the veil. Remember that part in the Matrix where Neo sees the cat and the cat goes around like a second time and he says, deja vu. And I think Morpheus says, yeah, there's a glitch. I want to say that for many, many people, many of us light workers, the three-dimensional world is not as cemented and anchored as it has been, because there is the shaking and the dismantling of the 3D energy or matrix, and the evolution going into the fifth dimension. Many of us are here on the earth, walking the earth, but our consciousness is already in the fifth dimension. But that is now spreading. So things that used to be so set and anchored, like this is it, like a cube, okay? That cube is now beginning to wobble, I would say. And so you have many different things, and I'm curious to know if people are experiencing what a new term is called the Mandela effect. That's been out there for a long time, the whole idea behind it. Now, I am of the understanding that Mandela never died in jail and he lived along and became president. To my surprise, people that I know, like contemporary, thought he had died. So, right in my small circle of a group of friends, I'm like, some of us think that he had died, and in jail. And a group of us said, no, that never happened. So that's how this whole Mandela effect came about. But there's a lot of different things going on. And if you're not familiar with the Mandela effect, you could check it out. But I think everybody here kind of knows what we're talking about. And so some of the traditional ones, that have been there. Now, the one I know for sure, my generation, I remember Jiffy. There's no ifs or buts about it. Jiffy, Jiffy, Jiffy. But the company says it was never Jiffy. It was always Jif. Okay, so that's one. The other one is the Monopoly guy. I remember the little monocle. I really do. I remember that monocle. All right, said that's never happened. Okay, but then there's also glitches on a personal level. And the very first time, before I knew about a Mandela effect, before any of that stuff, this was many, many years ago, and I talked about it to the people I was around, where I was driving. I actually was in Northport, Florida, and down a side road, and to the right was a gas station. I'm going down and I see suddenly, I had to ride away, but a big truck. It was like one of those big kind of SUV trucks. It was a big one. It was off the ground. I saw the guy rolling out, not seeing me. I could tell he could not see my car. It was all happening at the same time. And I remember bracing the wheel, and I was like bracing for the impact. It was going to hit me on the right. And I remember thinking, did I pay my insurance? I remember saying, gee, did I pay my car insurance? But then my car kept on going, and I looked in my rear view mirror and he never stopped. He kept on going. So I'm like, oh my gosh, how did that happen? How it should have hit and it didn't. Well, of course, obviously I was grateful that it didn't, but I never forgot that. I actually spoke about that at that time. And I think it was at an anchoring light. So I don't know, this is like 12 years ago, something like that. And somebody else said, I had the same thing happen to me too, where somehow that connection, or we did, now words could be where you just went into a timeline shift where things just changed in that moment. So that was my very first, like, wow, that's an anomaly. That's very interesting. From that time, the years starting, then you start hearing about the Mandela effect. But I want to say that there are people that I know. I just had a conversation with a dear friend of mine yesterday, and she was telling me that she was looking, I think it was the, what is it, the Super Bowl, and at the party it was a screen, and she's there looking at it, and they had the blocks, where they have they put the language on there so you could see it, not just hear it, but also look at what was being said. And she said that there was a time when she was watching it that it like wasn't working. In other words, the blocks were there, but the type wasn't there. And then later on, she was speaking to a friend, and she was saying, "Wow, that's really something that they had the blocks there and not having the typing, the words on there." And the friend said, "What are you talking about? It is there." And she said, "No, it's not." And then later on, they go back, and it's like it's there now. And she said it wasn't there when she was there. Then there's another lady that talks about her son doing a little game of counting marbles. And at one time he's doing well, one, one, two, one, one, two, three, one, one, two, three, four. And then he goes, one, two, three, four, five. And the mother said, no, do it again. One, two, three, four, five. Because she saw four, but the kid saw five. And then later on, she said she was not, she was there with a friend. So there was a witness and saw a blue marble that wasn't there before. So and there's been, let me see, Jiffy popcorn, yeah, Jif peanut butter. I love Jif. I love Jif too. The other one that I remember very well, okay, and another person spoke about this was in because I used to like James Bond. I watched all of the James Bond movies. And there was the one with the big guy that had like the teeth that were not teeth. He had like metal in his teeth. And there's a scene where he sees this young girl. She's very petite, and it's like an instant attraction between the two of them. He's smiling. He shows his big, his teeth full of metal. She smiles, and she has braces. I remember, like, oh yeah, I have metal in my teeth too. And they're saying that that didn't happen. That the scene did not have. She did not have braces. But you still and yet, there's so many people that do remember specifically that scene, that the whole point of that scene was that she had metal in her teeth and he did too. And they held hands and they walked. That was in the James Bond movie. So I'm just simply saying a couple of things. One, we got to look at CERN in Switzerland. They're doing some things. Now, there was a young man, I do not remember his name, but I remember him. He was a young kid. He was like maybe 13 or 14, but a real kind of genius type. He was so engaging that he would capture your attention to hear what he had to say. And so he was talking about quantum physics. He's talking about CERN. He's talking about things. And he was like, the idea we have parallel universes, there's numerous timelines, that CERN did something, right? That energy, like our universe, according to him, like evaporated. Okay, but all that energy of us just went into a parallel universe. And how we could tell is these little changes, these glitches, if you will, okay, that are taking place. So that's definitely one kind of theory that's out there. But also, too, what I feel very much is that there are those of us that are awake, and this ties into what's going on right now in our society, okay, this is not the first time. In the Matrix, it says this is our sixth time, okay, so hold on to that thought. But you might have recalled I did a talk about Edres, EDRES 2, and that's an apocrypha gospel that was in the King James Gospel for 274 years, and somebody decided to take it out, which has to have you thinking whenever you read anything, you have to look with discernment, because there's been a lot of manipulation. And right now, in our current state of affairs, it's as has been saying, okay, for decades now, and it's actually manifesting itself, that all those things that have been hidden will come to the light of day. All those things that have been hidden will come to the light of day. That's what's happening right now. And that's the same kind of thing that will happen to Ezra, Ezra, in his time. And he was saying, oh my goodness, what's going on? Look at all the evil in the world. He's kind of freaking out. And he says, it's just this injustice is not fair and it's good people. Kind of like the same thing we're going on here. What the heck? Okay, now for some of us, some of this is shocking to some people. Like that couldn't be. For many of us who are awake, it is not shocking. What it is, it's now being revealed. It's now being revealed. And what's being revealed, okay, is the age old, we are in a spiritual war. Okay, now if you're still the right side and the left side, the Democrats and the Republicans, you're not awake. You're not there yet. You're not there yet. You have to come above that to see what that is, which is the manipulation of the right and the left. Now, we're in the world. Okay, we can't escape that, but we're not of it. And that also means we do not have to engage in those things that we know are the trappings of what we would call an energetic cage or a false matrix or a simulation, perhaps, that we have great power. And once we wake up to the fact that we have great power, okay, just by us radiating our light, okay, not falling into depression, not falling into anger, not falling in all those lower vibrations that they are working overtime for us as a human collective, okay, to have our nerves on edge with all the things that are going on. Yeah, war and rumors of war. What else is new? We have to now wake up and say, wait a second here. Okay, I see what this is. I'm not going to fall into fear because fear is a cage. It makes you small. You have to transcend that and say, I come with the armor of God. Okay, I could be anywhere. Okay, and I am divinely protected and I am divinely guided. That's where you come. That's where you throw your light out. Not into, oh my gosh, look what's happening. Shrink, 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 shrink. That's the goal. No, 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 no. Okay, so it's important for us to understand, okay, where we are because we signed up for this assignment to be here at this time. We said we're going to let our light shine, and not only that, we're going to figure it out. And we are had a wonderful opportunity because things are now in your face. You can't say, oh, gee, it's hidden. I don't know. No, there's no hiding anymore. What kind of hiding? You see it for what it is. Now, what are we going to do about it? Different people have different roles. The one thing I would say is that we're not going to fall into the trappings of depression and anger and agitation, but come from the higher vibration of unconditional love. Okay, that's the and the compassion heart. That's the energy we have to maintain around us because that is the armor of God as we go through these times. But as we do that, we will help to awaken others to do the same thing. And when that's happening, what is it doing? It's glitching the matrix. It's glitching it. Okay, I could see where time is no longer specific. It's like you're not sure if something happened yesterday, last week, or 10 years ago. Something that you thought was yesterday was a week ago. Something that happened a week ago just happened yesterday. Is this kind of wobbly type of no specific constructs no long. Everything is becoming very, very wobbly. So just I want to say to everybody, if we continue not to fall into the trappings that are out there, remember who we are as powerful, powerful um, uh, uh, beings of light. That we come not in this physical body. This does not define us. This is an avatar that we use, but we come from a much higher aeon. And really, we need to start tapping into that in order to dismantle this false matrix, or what I call an energetic cage of a lower vibration, of the duality back and forth. We've learned whatever lessons we needed to learn from that. Now it's time to escape and dismantle that and come into the higher vibration of the fifth dimension, which does not have the duality and does not have the kind of grief that we see here in this world right now. So, with that, I'm going to say namaste, beautiful family of light. We will see you next time.